So let's talk about one of the most interesting corners of the market. What if I told you that some of the best investment opportunities aren't brand new, flashy companies, but are actually hidden gems tucked away inside corporations you already know? Today, we are diving into a powerful strategy that advanced investors use to find these treasures hiding in plain sight. Just think about that for a second. A whole billion-dollar business could be buried, almost invisible, inside a giant corporation. And you know what? It happens way more often than you'd think. It's all because of this kind of weird glitch in how the market values big, complex companies. And this problem has a name. It's called the conglomerate discount. Look, the best way to picture it is like this. Imagine a huge, super messy garage. It's just filled with junk, right? Old tools, lawn equipment. But under a dusty old tarp in the corner, there's a perfect, pristine, classic car. Well, because the garage is such a mess, nobody even bothers to look under the tarp, and the whole garage gets valued for pennies on the dollar. We're here to find that car. Okay, so how do you get that classic car out of the messy garage and show the world what it's really worth? Well, there's a specific move for that. It's called a spin-off. A spin-off is when a parent company takes one of its divisions, that's our classic car, and basically sets it free. It becomes a brand new, independent company with its own stock traded on the market. Now, this isn't just shuffling papers around. This is about giving a really promising business its own identity, its own leadership, and the freedom to finally, hit the gas. So, why does just separating a company create so much value? It's not magic, not at all. It really comes down to four key things, four catalysts that get unleashed the second that new company is standing on its own 2 feet. First up, focus. This is all about who is actually steering the ship. You got to think about the human side of this. Before the spinoff, this business unit was probably just one of 20 items on the parent CEO's to-do list. But after, it gets its own CEO, a person whose entire career, their entire bonus, is tied to the success of this one company. That is a massive shift in focus and motivation. All right, the second key, it's all about giving the company control of its own wallet. See, when it was part of the huge conglomerate, it had to fight for every single dollar against all the other divisions. Now, it's in charge of its own money. It can invest, it can borrow, it can spend in a way that is perfectly designed for its industry and its best growth opportunities, all without having to ask mom and dad for permission. Third, let's talk about shedding some weight. This is about cutting all that corporate baggage. You know how giant corporations have giant overhead? We're talking layers and layers of management, endless reports, just tons of corporate bloat. A spinoff gets to leave all that stuff behind. It can build a much leaner, more efficient operation from scratch and fine-tune its whole strategy, from sales to marketing, directly for its own customers. And that brings us to the fourth and final key, which is really the big payoff: perception. It's all about how the market finally sees this business clearly for the first time. This is it. This is the moment our classic car is finally out of the garage. It's been polished up, and it's ready for the auto show. For the first time, analysts and investors can see it for what it is: a focused, pure-play business. They can actually compare it to its direct competitors and value it properly, which, more often than not, means a much, much higher price tag. Okay, so you might be thinking, if this whole process is so great at unlocking value, where's the opportunity for me as an investor? Well, it's not just about buying any spinoff. It's about understanding the critical window of time where all the magic really happens. Let's just look at the timeline here. First, a company announces the spinoff. Then, a few months later, the new shares get distributed and they start trading all on their own. And that initial period, right after it begins trading, that's often where the real opportunity is hiding. And here it is. This is the secret sauce. Imagine you're a giant index fund and you own stock in the massive parent company. Well, one day you're suddenly given shares of this new, much smaller company. What do? A lot of the time you sell them immediately, not because the new business is bad, but just because it's too small or doesn't fit your fund's strict rules. These are called forced sellers, and this big wave of selling can push the stock price way down, creating a fantastic bargain for investors who've actually done their homework. Okay, time for a quick reality check. This strategy is powerful, for sure, but it is not a magic bullet. Not every spinoff is a hidden gem. Frankly, some are just junk being tossed out of the garage. You have to know how to tell the difference. So here's what you want to look for: the green flags. The most important things? A really clear, logical reason for the split and a strong, experienced management team that's actually sticking around. And hopefully they have their own money on the line. These are the signs that a great business is being set free, not just being dumped. And on the flip side, these are the red flags to watch out for. You got to be really careful if it looks like the parent is just dumping a problem child or, and this is a big one, loading the new company up with a mountain of debt. But you know the biggest warning sign of all? If the top managers are cashing out and leaving, you should probably run the other way too. So in the end, spin-off investing is all about looking where other people aren't. It's about understanding the powerful forces that can unlock value that was hidden before. It's really about having the insight to see that classic car under the dusty tarp before anybody else does. So the real question is, what gems are out there right now just waiting to be discovered?